Welcome to the Christian and Daniel Show.
It's about to get real, well, you know the deal. You won't have to guess how either of them feel. Bringing up the things you don't think to know. Never knowing where the conversation will go. Just a little more than anything goes. It's a Christian and Daniel Show.
Hello, everybody. I am Smart Christian, wearing my glasses and doing professional things. Welcome.
And I'm Daniel, and
him show.
Welcome to the Christian and Daniel Show. We want to welcome all our friends on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter. Thank you for joining us. Please share this on your page so your friends and family can watch along with you. For those of you watching us on YouTube,
also, because it's the only logical thing to do.
Of course. If you're watching us on YouTube, do us a favor, scroll down, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell. It'll let you know every time there's a new show on the air, and we've got shows almost every day of the week. So we're so excited. This is our last show of the year. It's our last show of the year.
It is the last show of the year, Daniel.
Yes.
That is true. I cannot believe we've come to the end of this year already.
Isn't it crazy? Isn't it crazy?
It is insane. That's INSANE. So those who don't know.
Oh my God. We are excited because we get to have we missed her last week because of technical issues, but she is back to redeem herself.
Ada.
And if she has any issues, she needs to call her cable provider. Ida, welcome back to the show, sweetie.
Hi, guys.
Welcome back, Ada.
I made it this time. I've got a backup and a backup to the backup.
How did you start a podcast show? 2 years ago, just did. We ended the regular podcast and we started the live stream. But thank you for joining us, sir. Compadre, ¿cómo estás? Saludos, compadre, a toda la raza de Monterrey. Saludos para allá, toda la gente.
Monterrey. I love Monterrey.
So give us the feedback. Tell us what happened, why we lost you last time.
So last week when we got on, everything was going fine. Earlier that day, there had been a lot of windstorm, but then everything started blinking, and then I lost you, and then I brought you back, and then I lost you, and then I realized that my internet was out in my apartment, and I don't know if I was picking up because I live right next to the main office, so I might have picked up their public, but then it was wonky. Then I went outside, all my neighbors, I was like, let me borrow my neighbors because we all know each other. I'm like, I'm going to go knock on each other. Hey, can I borrow your Wi-Fi? She's like, it's not working. Went downstairs, it's not working. I'm like, it was like 45 minutes. I'm like, yeah, fuck it. It's over. I kept texting you, and then I tried on my iPad, and it was not. And then I found out later on that because of the windstorm, it had knocked out some lines, and Spectrum came out. They came out yesterday. I'm like, I needed you last week, not today. Like,
you're like, I missed my moment in live stream television.
They took my opening night.
But we're glad you're here. Nope. You're here for our last show of the year, and we'll do some year in review stuff in just a minute for everybody.
Thank you for having me.
Christian is smiling like he just ate the last piece of chocolate. Maybe. Before we run too long, we do have another special guest with us today. He is a friend of the show, Checo Cobos. Checo Cobos has been on Putting Together Conversations. He came and talked about being an entrepreneur and doing his food truck, and we visited him. For those of you who remember, we went to a comedy show. Remember the comedy show, Christian? I never went on stage, and it was horrible, and the promoter was horrible. But the good thing that came out of it was we had some amazing tacos and amazing hamburger.
Yeah.
So
and we were there for hours.
And you met a great guy.
Yes, yeah. And we've gone places.
And something we forgot to do last week and this week, and we need to do it, is thank you to Chico Doria, our artistic director, Since
Yes.
we're at the end of the year, I want to make sure we thank the people who do these wonderful things.
Kai
Thank
Kalama
you to-
for, oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
Kai Kalama, our musical director.
And and Ebag Odell as our honorary production manager.
He was on last week for like a little bit.
Like a second, yeah.
Yeah, and then he left.
And he was still out of country, so, and he may still be out of country because I don't know if they're letting people in right now.
I got a picture from him a little bit ago, like a couple of days ago, probably on Monday with my check-ins for all of you that are part of my Monday morning check-ins.
And
I love
just
those
so you know,
check-ins.
Ebag Odell is Gabe Leto.
Gabe Leto, who's our stage manager. So, well, let's bring Checo on to talk up for a minute. We're going to have him on for a little bit, and he's going to tell us about this amazing new event he has. Checo, how you doing?
Hello, guys. What's going on?
Bienvenidos al Christian y Daniel show.
Thank you. Thank you for the invitation. I remember it was last year.
Yeah.
We did it together show.
Yeah, I love because
I remember the.
Yeah.
Facebook sends me the reminders of like, remember this last year, and it reminded me that you were on the show about a year ago. So
wow.
I know time flies.
Yeah,
fast, I don't know how to say it.
But it's good to have you back. What have you been up to the last year? How has business been?
It's been ups and downs, trying to figure out where this COVID thing is taking us, riding the waves, crying a lot, supporting myself, supporting my wife, crying again. But it's part of the journey. It's part of the entrepreneur journey, like ups and downs. And the important about it is you just gotta learn and see where everything is going, so you could prepare for the next move. Yeah. So but everything's been good. It's been amazing. It's been, man, I thanks God, and I thanks to everybody who's been following us and support us all the time. They love the food. I get that come all the time, like, oh, I love your food. Your food is so fresh. Your food is so this. I'm like, yeah, that's what we do. We try to bring fresh and good food outside to the people.
And good food he does have, folks. Let me tell you, good food he does have. You had a meetup on the 12th.
Yeah, now we're working on this project. We call it LA Meetups, where the point is that I want to bring all kind of trucks, which is food trucks with desserts, drinks, coffee, all kind of food, obviously. And I know that I'm seeing like nail salons on a truck, grooming on a truck. I even saw a strip club on a truck, so I want to try to bring them.
That's really cool.
It's a lot of different concepts that the truck environment is bringing, and everybody's being smart and ideas and all this. So I want to bring it like the second Sunday of every month. This next one is going to be on January 9th. That's what we're having. But most important, what I want to bring is I want to help all those entrepreneurs and business owners that they've been struggling and discovering, and they don't understand like what's going on, why I don't have people, why I don't see people walking, because even the regulars, they don't come out no more. Like one of my regulars, they don't come out. Like I want to teach them. I want to educate him. I want him to come and see, because we're gonna have a couple of speakers to let them know, like, okay, this is what's going on. This is why marketing is so important. This is why promotion is so important. This is why social media is so important. Because let me tell you, I was one of the guys that I didn't have Facebook until probably when I started with the food truck business.
Yeah.
And the only Facebook that I have, it was because of the business. But now I open my personal Facebook, and I start connecting with other people, So I want to teach them all that. Where we're going with everything is moving, and I want them to understand that we're not gonna go back to the same one.
No.
But if they come out, they come to the LA meetups, they're gonna network with promoters, marketing guys, social media influencers, and they could learn a little bit. So we could put like ese granito de arena para que maybe the guy next door has a food truck, empieza a moverse and to be like, oh, I gotta do this and I gotta do that. Let's see how it works. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Yeah,
That's really
that's
cool.
the
For
whole.
those of you that are watching, here is his Facebook page. So you can go check him
Yeah,
out.
that's me. Go
That's his
follow
page.
me.
Go follow them. Check them out.
I'm
I also
doing that
want to
right now.
show.
And you can book them. They do parties. They do
We
home
do
events.
parties, man. The
Catering.
parties that we do, we actually take out all the stress. Oh, January 9 food truck meetup, 10 to 5, 10:13 Crocker Street. Yeah. And the caterings that we do at home, the parties, we take all the hard work from you. We even
Oh,
host for you. We're going to make people feel
I
comfortable,
love that.
you know? And you don't
The
have to be
very
like, it's
concept.
everything cool because I know we're going to be taking care of that. I'm going to be
Yeah.
hosting for you on the party, or maybe one of my coworkers they're gonna be hosting for you, asking like, "How's everything? What do you need? It's everything good. You need more water." Blah, blah, blah. So you go enjoy your party with your friends
I
and
love
family.
it.
There's a couple
I
of
even
things
gonna
that I
go and
want
ask
to.
you.
Yeah.
There's a couple of things
Like-
that I want to make sure that we talk about before you have to go. Is number one is how important it is that you're not just doing this to make money for yourself. You're doing this to educate the community. You're
Yeah.
trying, tenemos la historia. We have that history of Latinos. Like we go up and somebody wants to drag you down, los cangrejos. But you're
Yeah.
actually trying to move up and bringing people up with you, and that's really cool.
Yeah. I saw it. The first LA meetup that we had, it was me, a churros truck and a coffee truck,
Oh,
and we have really good people. We have influencers, we have promoters, we have media, we have a couple of radio stations, and I was the
wow.
only one networking and trying to, how can I do this, how can I do that. But the other guys, probably because they were older than me, I don't want to say that, but they they didn't know how to do that. They didn't know why they were doing that.
Yeah.
What were they doing there? So I want to help it. I want to educate him.
Yeah.
Like, hey, this is where we're going. Try to do this. Try to use social media for attract customers, not just to be like, oh yeah, what everybody's doing. You know, try to use social media as a tool to bring more customers to your panaderia, to your hair salon, or whatever it is that you do out there. You know, I know that there's a lot of people that they're doing really good because they know how to use social media. They're doing amazing good.
Yeah.
But there's also people, especially like let's say some of them Latinos, some of them probably because they're like over 50 or 60s or 40s, or like me, I'm 30, 38, and I didn't know how to use social media.
Yeah.
You know, but
Yeah.
it is really important to use it as a tool to generate more customers and to generate more people to bring them. And I
Does.
want to teach them that we want to have a couple of speakers who actually is going to be teaching you, educating, and telling you, do this, do that, try this, and try that.
Awesome.
And then, man, grow as a community. Grow as a
You're paying
good
it forward.
community and help each other, man.
That's really cool. So
And that's-
I'm excited. So whatever that Little Mexican Productions Inc. can do to help, I have it on my calendar already. So we will be there with our cameras and our microphones and maybe our cards to do some readings, maybe.
Oh yeah,
oh,
that would be
man.
fun.
Yeah,
Card
that would be
Devo.
Maybe.
fun.
Maybe Little Mexican
No,
Productions.
maybe.
Yeah, that's.
No, maybe there is.
I'm sorry, getting out of because you mentioned cards. I thought you were gonna say business cards.
Yeah.
But the first LA meetups that I had, I told all of them, bring as much as business cards as you can because you're gonna network.
Yeah.
You're gonna meet people,
Well,
bring them,
yeah.
make connections.
And if you
I got
don't
there,
have a business
nobody took
card,
cards. Oh, I don't know. I don't have cards. I don't have this. I'm like,
yeah, you got to get them.
come
That's the
on.
only way to network and be
I
remembered.
want to wake up those entrepreneurs that they're staying behind and they're struggling because a lot of them are struggling a lot.
Yeah.
Cool.
No?
Well, we're going to show the date again and the address for those of you that want to join us because we're going to be part of it. January 9th, which is a Sunday.
It's Sunday, yeah.
Sunday, January 9th, the food truck meetup. It's from 10 to 5, 1013 Crocker Street here in Los Angeles. So make sure that you join us. You get to meet Checo. You get to meet Christian,
Christian and Daniel.
and me. So,
If I were in LA, I'd be there, but I'm in Texas.
Yeah.
Oh,
Ada
Texas.
can't make it.
But you know, this could start a whole new.
But I'm gonna
idea.
tell everybody in Texas when they're going to LA, you gotta go check out Weddle's truck.
The
Yes.
faded
I already
burger,
followed
baby.
you on the page.
Thank you,
Mhm.
thank you, Ida. Really
Well, Checo,
appreciate that.
Yeah.
Following you
we,
back.
we have to come visit you soon. Before then, to check out.
Yeah. I'm
Just
gonna
go
be keeping you. I'm gonna be posting everything. I'm gonna be sending you all the updates. The
Good.
flyer, when I get the new flyer, I'm gonna send it to you guys. And I mean, come and support. More than support, like I told them, come and network. Meet the people, the next partner that you're gonna get. Meet that next
Community.
friend that you're gonna get. You know, network, and let's see where it comes from. You know.
Yeah.
It's awesome what you're doing for the Latino and Hispanic community in LA. So congratulations on that.
Absolutely.
We're here to support you.
Thank you guys, and thank you for the invitation, Daniel. Thank you for the invitation, and I love you guys.
Hablamos pronto.
Sí. Bye,
Cuídate.
Aida. Bye,
Adiós,
cuídate.
mijito.
Yay! That is so cool. That is so cool.
That is so wonderful. That is like on
Yeah.
his own. You know, everybody's like he was talking. There's all these big companies that they're worried about their profit margin and what they're making, and they're successful and they have other, you know, like Kellogg talks to Kraft. They're all at the same convention, but the little guys down here don't know how to get there. And this young man is taking the initiative to bring his community together and to help others, because there's a lot of people that don't know how to do those things, but they don't want to ask. But
Yeah, and they don't
it's
have access
a
to
way of
people
paying
who
it
know.
forward.
Yeah.
What did you say, Chris?
I said they don't have access to people who are familiar or know how to work social media, and you know, a lot of the OGs don't, and they don't know anyone, so they're not going to ask,
And they're afraid to ask.
Yeah, so they don't want to look dumb, and it's like this is a great opportunity for everyone.
Absolutely. And it'll come back to him tenfold and help others. And it's just contributing. You know, when I was a young kid, you know, my dad was born in 1925, went to World War II, and he used to say, you know, after the war, you know, why there was such a big boom, because communities helped each other. You know, this neighborhood had all their, you know, all their men were out and all the women got together and helped each other, you know, and that's why there was such a big boom after the war. Everybody was willing and wanting to help each other. And this reminded me of that. You know, it's like, you know, we got to help each other. We're going through a new era. We're evolving, this COVID, and there's new ways of doing, you know, there's no more newspapers and magazine ads or billboards. It's social media. And then, you know, and being an older person, I'm over 50, it is a little bit intimidating to ask somebody, hey, how do I do this? Because I don't know. Pero yo soy de cabrona, yo me metí, you know, we'll leave that alone. Porque me gustan las jóvenes, so it's like, well, yeah, I need to get on that game if I want to date younger women.
Date younger, you need to keep the lingo.
Exactly. I got to be hip and cool, right?
Let's get jiggy with it. For everybody that's watching us, welcome to the show. If you caught on the first, we had Checo who was talking to us about Weddle's food truck, and so we're gonna make sure to be there. But it's reminding y'all, it's the last show of the year. We're
here at the end.
So 52 shows this year?
Do what?
52 shows this year?
No, we did a little less than that. We probably did about 45.
Yeah.
45. I didn't get to count them, but I think we did about 45 shows, which is still a big number for a season.
That's great.
But what has
and a lot of shows are doing.
What do you consider your biggest achievement of the year?
For me?
The three of us with our fake beards. And for those of you watching the show, what was your biggest achievement of the year?
For me, my biggest achievement was moving to Austin from Houston.
Wow. That's a big deal. Moving is one of my least favorite
Yeah.
activities.
I was trying to move here a year ago, but Daniel kept saying, no, espérate, stay
Yeah.
put. I was
Yeah.
like, but I want to go now.
But it's good that you waited, huh?
Well, he's only been giving me advice for like 10 years, or
Yeah.
I've known you 13 years, but he's been doing my cards, and he always like, I know you, I know how you are, because I'll always come like, I have this new job opportunity, but I have to move. He's like, you just started, get up there, stay still. So I did wait, like you told me to, and it was a great move, a great company. I have a great apartment right by a creek, nature. That's what I love about it. I'm not in the city. I'm in the city. I'm 15 minutes away from downtown, but I've got a creek in my backyard. It's a public park. It's nature. It's wooded. It's hilly. Our neighbors are great. So, it was something that I've been wanting for like 5 years, but never, I would get little jobs, but they were just contract jobs, and, stay in a hotel and go to work and come back. And, but it's a great town, and it took a lot of doing, and,
Yeah.
things getting lined up. And, the company that I moved over here for, things didn't work out because it was more commercial construction, which is something new for me. And now I landed with a new company, and they're from the Valley, and it's kind of like we clicked. It's like, oh, you're a Valley, and so
Yeah.
it feels more like family. And it's in residential remodeling and building new homes, and that's my niche. I've been doing that for 10 years, so
Wow.
I'm very happy. So
But do you think that some of the stuff that you learned in commercial will help you now in residential?
absolutely, because there's different methods. There's different methods of framing. There's different methods of sheetrock that they do differently in commercial and residential. And the company that I'm working for, they're like a real estate / construction company. So they're buying and developing. And so we will be moving into commercial towards the end of the year.
Wow.
So that being a residential building inspector helped me, like on day one, and we showed up to a job site, and I'm just walking around. We get in the truck, and the owner's like, so what do you think? And I'm like, can I speak openly? And there's like 16 items that I saw, help, safety, detail, because I'm as an inspector, I mean, it's like they left paint on the side of the wall. It's a brand new house. How are you going to leave paint on the window? And it's like, there's this. It's like, man, I never, that's why I picked you, because you're an inspector. So educating my coworkers from the inspector side, making them more successful, so they don't have failing inspections. So we have less, and a lot of these people get loans, and they have third-party inspectors, and there's a 30-item list that you got to go back and fix before you get the last paycheck.
Yeah.
And now we've set up a system where we're going to have 10 items, because I'm going to walk the job 3 times during the process and cut out those little things. And they're just little things that get overlooked, paint drops on the corner, or they miss the caulking on one door, and you won't see it till like 6 months later when the people move in. But it's those things. I walk in as if it were my house.
Right.
And the guys that are building, and they're guys, they don't clean the bathrooms, they don't do the dishes. And so I go and look at all those things that I would, as a woman, we see more of those little things. And as an inspector, guys used to get really upset, and they're like, man, she's a bitch. And then I'm like, dude, I can tell you now, or you can wait after the people move in and then start complaining, and you have to come back into the house when the homeowners are already living there. And it took a couple of months, and they're like, you know what? You've helped me a lot, because they get a bigger bonus if they have less complaints. And so then they all became my friends.
That's really interesting that you said that, since you brought it up, like as a woman, you work in a predominantly male.
Yeah,
workforce.
absolutely.
I'm losing the words right now. I don't know why.
Yeah.
But
There's something beeping. Is that me or you guys?
I think
That
that's
must be you. We don't have any beeping. I
I
don't even
have
hear.
battery.
It
That was
might
weird.
be your earbuds.
Yeah, I think somebody was calling me on my phone, but I turned it off.
Okay.
So yeah,
how does it
I'm in
work?
a predominantly male world, and it So I've been in this business 17 years, and I started with my family because my dad was in construction and concrete. I helped my little brother start his concrete pumping company. And when I was working for my brother, the guys would not listen to me. They would just listen. And they were like, oh, no, it's supposed to be that way. And my brother told me specifically, no, it's not supposed to be that way. So he's like, from now on, if they don't do it when you tell them, call me. And I would call him, like, I told him to do this, and the phone would ring. And it took about a month. And it was two guys. And finally, one of them said, dude, let's just go do it, because Carlos is going to call in 2 minutes and we're going to have to do it anyway. But it was just because Carlos, a man, told them they would do it. And then finally the one guy said, dude, if we don't do it, we're going to get a phone call in 2 minutes. So that started the wheel. And I've gone to a lot of places. And for example, this commercial project that I just came over here for, that I was working on, there's that Latino, and there's a lot of, one thing that gets me in the door is that I can translate from English to Spanish and translate plans, so I can communicate with the subs, with the trades, with the cementero, the framero, and I can talk to them. But they don't like to be told. There was a concrete guy, like, usted no sabe, yo sé lo que yo estoy haciendo, yo soy la hija de un cementero, yo también sé lo que estás haciendo. I'm not gonna get dirty, I'm an inspector, I tell you if you're doing it right or wrong. But he didn't like for me to tell him, and I had the owner was like, what's going on? I said, I've told him 2 or 3 times. And finally, he had to step in and call me. He's like, hey, I hired her to be the superintendent. You need to do what she tells you to do. And then they get pissed off because they feel like they got sent to the principal's office. And once they realize, once they see us, it takes like 2 weeks. And once they realize, they're like, when I first met you, I didn't think you knew what you were talking about, but you know your stuff. You do know. I'm like, yeah, I'm a third generation construction baby. I used to go to work with my dad when I was 8.
Wow.
We were always, my dad was he was a pretty smart guy. He would take us and he's like, who wants to go to work with me? And he'd give us each a pala to dig the beams for the concrete foundations. They have 2 feet deep, 12 inches wide. And he lines us up and he's like, whoever digs the perfect one gets $5. And we were all in chingas and we were just setting up the form for him to pour concrete.
Wow.
I like that. So, and
well, first of all, child labor. Let's talk about child labor. But second,
it was in the 70s, dude.
Yeah, there was no child labor in the 70s. But what a great way to teach you and set you up for what you have. But it sucks that in 2021,
to this
females
day
are still fighting for their position in the male.
And we get paid less, but we don't get paid. You know how there's a big difference between men and women, that are vice presidents, bankers. The margin is a little bit closer, but we're still a little bit less, but we're almost like we're 5% right behind them. And within a year or within 6 months, if you shine, they'll put you right up there. And sometimes I have to speak a little bit louder, like you can feel the vibe. And so sometimes I just got to stand a little bit taller, be a little bit more butch than I normally am, just to get my point across. But if I say something to them, like they say I'm a bitch, but the next guy comes and yells at them and says, what the hell are you doing? Yes, boss, and I'm like, what is that? You cry, you call me a bitch, but he yells at you and you're like, yes, boss. So I came up a couple of years ago. Remember when I was doing that hotel in Houston?
Yeah.
I realized, I was like, I think maybe these guys, they get their feelings hurt because they feel like their mother's yelling at them. That's the only deduction that I can come with. A female's coming at them, so it's either their wife or their mom. They got mommy issues, and they feel like, me está regañando, or this fucking bitch won't leave me alone. But the guy yells at him, and one of the guys yelled at him worse than I've ever yelled at him. And I was like, you're telling him, yes, boss, and I got mad at you for this, and you're telling me I'm mean to you? Well, it's not like that, Miss Ida. Don't take it wrong. And I was like, no. So there's that. Especially in the Latin community, it's really hard when you get the old school guys. They are not going to listen to me. And this company that I'm at right now, the owner's like, I put her in charge. If she wants to fire you, I've heard your story, but I'm the owner of the business, but she's in charge of the job. Having that kind of support from your bosses allows you to excel, has allowed me to excel over the years. And you just gotta, once you spend time with them, once they realize that I know what I'm talking about, they're like, man, you're a badass. Or they see me hustling to get the material that they need and going, if they run out of gas, they're like, don't move, I'll go get it. And I go, for the machines, for the generators, and they're like, that's not my job as a project manager, superintendent, but I do it to save them time. So they realize I help how I can, but I maintain the job and I maintain the safety. And I also they teach me, and I ask them questions. If you ask somebody, hey, my dad always told me, no, never tell somebody you need to do this because I'm your boss. You say, hey, can you help me do something? I'm trying to get this done. Can you help me do it? And it makes a world of difference.
Yeah.
How you talk to people.
And by the way, let me
asking
just,
them for
before
help.
you continue, I think your mics, your earbuds are going off because we have
Okay, let me turn them off.
Now?
There
Better?
you go. That's better. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
because I wanted to bring up the fact that Estela was talking about the machismo. Yeah, and definitely in Texas, Latinos live up to the machismo. El macho, no, una vieja, she's not going to tell me what to do.
Exactly.
And for our gringo audience, that's toxic masculinity.
But before we move on too much further, what's for you, Christian? What's your achievement of the year?
Nothing. Learning how to sit at home and do nothing and be very happy. No, how to be a housewife and just support my man.
She's so pretty when she says nothing.
Keep my mind empty. I think my biggest thing was getting over my depression and my anxiety, my really super high anxiety. I reached out for help, third-party help, working with a therapist regularly this year. I've been able to move beyond being super depressed over the death of my parents, because they both died very close to each other a couple years ago now. And that was probably my biggest achievement, was being willing to ask for help and put the time into being honest and open with my therapist so that I can get that help, so I can be helped. And that's a huge deal because I've never been good at sharing, opening up, letting the walls down. That's a difficult thing for me to do. And I was blessed with the humility to do that, the humility to ask for help, because it wasn't good. I wasn't headed in a good direction, and I didn't feel good. I didn't look good. My life was literally falling apart around me. And, I tripped the light fantastic on being homeless, not having my home. I wouldn't be homeless on the street, Daniel. I'm not alone in this world, but it would have been a great shock. And I'm grateful that I'm in my home and I'm able to say I have a home. And I learned to be grateful for this stuff. I learned to be grateful for a lot of different things in this last year that I took for granted in my past. And I realized nothing is a given, and that we have to keep the ball rolling, and we have to be willing to back up and say, hey, I need help. I can't do this on my own anymore. And I can't pretend like I can, because that's a guy thing too. That's a real built-in failure of masculinity. Is our fathers teach us, particularly I had an older father. So he's the OG generation, before boomers. And he would say, his thing was, you keep it to yourself. You don't let anyone else in on your problems. Anything that's going on you handle that inside your home. Once you get outside your home, everything's great. You're doing great. The world the world doesn't know. And that's a horrible way to live life. And it didn't make my father very happy. I can tell you he was not a happy person. So I'm glad I've been blessed with being able to take a different path and reach out for help and have that humility and learn that, oh my God, mental health I never thought about mental health. I never thought there was anything to, people say, oh, mental health and blah, blah, blah. And I used to go, blah, 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 whatever. And now I'm like, oh my God, thank God for these industries. Thank God for therapists. Thank God for people who are willing to listen to me cry and moan and scream and be cuckoo bird with them. And that and that, literally my higher power gave me the biggest gift of humility to be able to do it and to let those walls down.
I have a question. So when you started therapy, opening up, like, did that take several sessions, or were you able to?
It took probably about a month. It took about I see her every week, and so 4 times a month. It took about a month, about the first 4 visits, for me to let go of that honestly toxic masculine thought process.
Yeah, that you were raised.
I'm a man, I can't share nothing, and everything's good. I don't know why I have a Southern accent for that, but
hanging around Daniel.
But it's just it took about 4 sessions before I relaxed, and I really let her in. And what I love is she's such an amazing professional, and she's a therapist, so she knows it takes time. And it takes time. Everyone takes a different amount of time to open up. But once I did, I remember the first time she kind of went, she goes, "Now we're going places." That's all she said. She goes, "Now we're going places." And girl, we are still going places. I am shocked at what's come up. Now we're working with, now we're dealing with like stuff that might have taken place decades ago, but it still affects me today. I didn't even realize until I started talking about that. There's stuff I've been carrying for decades that is weighing me down, and it's influencing my decisions, my life decisions, and my professional decisions. And no, I'm glad to be taking those bricks out of my backpack and throwing them on the ground behind me.
Because a lot of people will go once or twice and they're like, "No, that doesn't work for me." And I'm like, really, it's a great thing. You just got to keep going, and it breaks my heart, because then they're still having issues. And I went through 4 or 5 different therapists before I found the right one for me.
Exactly. Yeah. I go, and I'll tell you guys, it's just like program. In the 12-step program, they tell you to go to at least 6 meetings before you give up on it, because one of those meetings is bound to be the right meeting for you. You'll meet the people you connect with. And that's the same concept applies to everyday life. Like, people don't just quit. Like, you don't just drive a car once, say, "Oh, this is a horrible car. I hate driving, so I'm never going to drive again." No, you don't. You find a different car. You hop in a different car, and it's a better fit for you, and it works. It's that, you don't give up on it, because really what you're doing, you're giving up on yourself. When you say, "Oh, this isn't for me. Therapy's not for me." How many therapists did you go to? Oh, 2. How many therapists you worked with? 1. No. So you're one of those people who, like, you'll take a bite of food and go, "Oh, I'm never going to eat this ever again, because it can't possibly be made better or different by anyone else." Like, God rest her soul. My mom could not cook a pork chop to save her life. Dry, gritty, horrific things that you had to, like, you eat 3 tablespoons of applesauce with each bite, because your mouth would just dry out. God bless her. Everything else she made was delicious. And she knows, I know she's up there going, kept your fat ass going, didn't it? You ain't skinny. You weren't a skinny child.
But there's a fear. There's a fear in letting go of the things that are blocking us from moving forward.
Why?
Because we're used to it.
I know. It's like psychologically, you ask yourself, why? Like, now, once you let some of these, once you let some of these things go, it's like, you're like, why? Why was I living all these decades? I'm 52 years old. And something from when I was 11 is managing my fear and my decision-making processes. That's insane.
But we're used to it. It's because that's our comfort zone, right? Living in that's what we've been living with for the last 40 years. We don't know that it's like you wear the same pair of jeans all your life, and then you turn 30 and your body changes. So you try a different pair of jeans. You're like, "Man, I've been missing out on this style or shoes or shirts, the fit."
Yeah.
And, but yeah, I was curious to ask that, because I know I have brothers and cousins, and
I always tell them you should try therapy, and I was like, oh, that's not for me. And
it frees your soul in a
I'm very
way.
happy for you, my dear.
Yeah, it frees your soul in a way that I would never predict it. And dealing with my parents' death it really impacted me. It really hit me hard. And you only get one set of parents usually. So you don't know what to expect when they pass. And it was overwhelming. Like, I didn't think it was going to be overwhelming. And even my dad's death, who I'm not going to say I quite was affected by it as much as my mom's. My daughter and I did not have a good relationship. Yeah, I totally was. He hated every minute of it. His toxic masculinity, his Latino toxic masculinity, he just couldn't accept that. And then, of course, I come out of the closet, and that changed. That's a whole other dynamic for him and his psychology. And he never talked to anyone about anything, and it was really difficult, but it still both affected me, because these are people that in your head, you don't think about your parents dying. It's not something you think about all the time, unless there's something else going on, you may really need therapy. But otherwise, it's still a shock to your system, and it still throws you in just odd directions. And I made some of the worst decisions of my life in 2019, which was the year like my parents died. My dad died right at the end of the year, 2018. So 2019, I was dealing with their deaths. Basically, that was a year of I just wasn't in my right mind, and I wish I had seeked out.
You lost both of them in the same year?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well,
And
within months.
Within months of each other.
Wow.
And I just wish I had seeked out help at the beginning of that, so I wouldn't have. Because I'm not kidding. There's going to be prices to be paid for my bad decisions from that time.
Well, the good thing is that you're starting to make some changes, and that's the
highlight. I really wasn't in my right mind, but that's why I said I can't keep going like this. I will end up under an overpass sleeping. I will end up there if I don't do something.
I'll drive by and wave, "Hi, honey."
And he'd throw a tamale out the window. Here's tamale.
There's some tacos for you.
Happy birthday.
I'll be driving by at 5 o'clock. I'll see you there.
Yeah.
Before we go into,
I wouldn't you can't move in with me, so you'll have to go to the church.
I love you, but not that much. Before we move on to the picks of the week, I think other than like my book, which I've been talking about all year, I think the highlight for me of the year has been.
Oh wait, Daniel, what was your highlight for the year?
Well, thank you for asking, Christian.
I'm done.
My highlight has been, I think, my biggest accomplishment professionally was getting nationally certified by the National Minority AIDS Coalition to be a national trainer. Other than the book, yeah, thank you. It was one of my dreams to be part of a national organization and be facilitating trainings at that level, and I finally did it. So it just blew my mind. I'm already tentatively scheduled for something next year with them, so it's pretty cool.
And like the covers of multiple magazines.
Oh yeah. So
that was so nothing.
I was highlighted in a couple of magazines.
And the covers. Why am I just now learning of this?
Yeah. Well, I made. There's a magazine, there's an HIV magazine called Plus Magazine, and it highlights stories about HIV. And every year, at the end of the year, they highlight the 25 most influential people of the year. And I made the list this year. So I was, I'm surrounded by some really big names.
I was going to say, wasn't Dominique just ahead of you?
She's from RuPaul's Drag Race. I just forgot her name. But on the list, Billy Porter is on the list with me. So
that's amazing.
I'm number 3 on the list. He's like down the list.
Anyway,
yeah, that's it. It's just kind of what it is. But yeah, Monique.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Monique was right after you, I think.
I think that's her name. Anyway, but this producer from Good Morning America made Person of the Year, and he'll be here in LA in January for a gala, hopefully, if everything gets okay. But yeah, that's been a highlight. So
That's going to be a
I'm
tough one.
pretty good.
And your
Pretty good.
book?
Oh,
And,
yeah.
and the book, yes. So finally,
And he's published with
Yeah, so-
international.
Awesome.
so next year we'll start putting out the Spanish version next year. So yeah,
That's going to be so awesome.
It was a good
I mean,
year.
Daniel had one heck of a COVID lockdown. He is not one. He did not stay idle. Dust did
slow
not.
down.
What is it? A Rolling Stone gathers no moss. He's a Rolling Stone. I gather moss.
And we're ending basically our second season with Little Mexican Productions. We're ending the second season of the Christian and Daniel
Yeah.
Show. We ended 2 seasons of Card Devo. Last month we had
Yes,
the last
Card
episode
Devo.
of put together. We'll be back next year. We're just revamping some of the
And
shows.
we started our social media. We started our production company, Little
So
Mexican
2021 was a pretty good year.
Incorporated, which is a trademark name, so no one can use Little Mexican Productions anywhere in the world without paying us.
I'm going to use it, and I'm going to text Daniel, and, hey, dude, I just used your dude. But we're family. We're from the Valley.
Be like, escándalo. So with
Escándalo.
that, we're going to start doing our picks of the week. So, Christian, let's start with you.
Oh. It's me. Hello, everyone. I'm Christian. Thank you. My crick of the week is this show. It's a relatively, I don't know if it's a new show, but it's a show I just discovered on HBO Plus. It's Finding Magic Mike. And it's about a competition between 10 men who are training to become Magic Mikes, basically professional strippers. And I love it because they're in their underwear most of the time and lots of VPLs going on. But it's actually really interesting to see these predominantly heterosexual men. There are a couple, where's one fluid and one bisexual male in the group, but how they're bonding and how they've become like a little family in just like a couple months of being on the show and competing. And it's incredible to see them expressing emotion, which is not typical of cisgender straight men. And it's kind of heartwarming. Besides all the gratuitous looks at their goodies, the show has a much deeper tone to it than you'd expect, particularly something called Finding Magic Mike. But it's really incredible. And I highly recommend it. It's on HBO Plus. Or HBO Plus or now?
It's on
whatever.
HBO.
It's on HBO.
Dude, that was deep. I don't think I could. I couldn't break it down that good. So my pick of the week was The Devil Wears Prada. It's just a great film to watch at any time. Pick me up, make you feel good. You know, it's the young girl who comes from a town, moves to New York City. She's dressed frumpy. She learns about fashion. She's caught up in the rat race. And then there's Meryl Streep, who plays the boss, who's just a total bitch, but she has her own problems. And then there's the designer. There's like 3 or 4 little stories in there. And, you know, a young person growing up, an older person going through divorce, a middle-aged man trying to make a career change. And everybody succeeds and everybody has their trials and tribulations, but it comes out in the end, everybody, you know, you learn something and you lose something, but life goes on. And, you know, it kind of, during the holidays, it's, you know, if you're alone, I watched it and I was alone one holiday. I think it was during COVID. I couldn't go home and I watched a bunch of movies, but that was the one movie that I enjoyed watching and it taught me something and it makes me laugh.
It's very good. I kind of like that. The Devil Wears Prada, an oldie but goodie, and it has a little bit of everything. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I like that. Thank you. My pick of the week is Being the Ricardos. It just came out on Amazon. And it's a look back at Lucille Ball and Desi Arnaz during one particular time in their life. It's based on a true story. I just want to put that out there because I've read a lot of notes out there. People are like, that's not how it really happened. No, it's based on a true story. And they put several different timelines into one story. So go into it with that. It's not a documentary. It's a movie. But I have to go back and talk. I was one of the people that said, Nicole Kidman is Lucille Ball. What are you thinking? But she really does a really great job at bringing out not Lucy Ricardo, but Lucille Ball, and which is really what they're focusing on. So if you were a fan of I Love Lucy and you're interested in hearing a little bit about their story in this movie, it's really cool. I read a biography of Lucille Ball many years ago when I wanted to start into getting my own stuff off the ground, and she really taught me a lot about how to be a boss in entertainment. And some of the things that I do are based on the way that she managed Desilu. So if you like Lucy Ricardo, if you like Lucille Ball, if you like both of them, if you like Nicole Kidman, go check it out. It's just a little story about their lives, and I liked it. It's rare that I get so caught up in a movie, but this movie really caught me. What was that you were doing, Christian? Can you show us again for the class?
I was sitting listening to you go on about Lucille Ball and being the Ricardos.
But it's one of the few movies that I was like really okay. So for everybody watching, I tend to play with my phone when I'm watching TV because if it's not that entertaining, I'll be playing a video game and I'm just listening. But this was one of the few movies.
Ask him, "Are you not interested in this? Should we watch something else?" No. I can hear it, and I'll be like, something neat will happen. I'll be like, "Did you see that?" No, and we have to rewind it.
Is this how your date night movie night goes?
Huh?
This is how your date night movie night goes?
Whatever. And
excuse me.
This was one of the few movies. This was one of the few movies that I actually put my phone down.
I can hear you
to watch.
What did he say?
Huh?
Chris, what did he say? Oh, let's
I
rewind.
said I can hear you. That's what I said. That's what I said. No, that's what it's like, folks. Did you see that?
Why are you watching me? Why are you not watching the movie?
Love is in
I
the
am.
air.
That's why I asked you. Did you see that? And you're like, no.
Let me watch TV my way.
My phone's more important.
So before we go, we still have about 8 more minutes. Are you a New Year's goals or a New Year's resolutions person?
Goals.
Were you listening, Christian?
Huh? Oh, I'm sorry. I was doing something else, but I was listening. No, I'm more of a goals. I don't believe in resolutions because I don't think in my life I've ever had I've made a resolution come true. So I'm more of a goals. Just like I like to do a real 30,000 foot level. This is what I would like to happen this year, and then then you just kind of do baby steps, hopefully, to get there.
Yeah, definitely a goals. I set goals, and
Nah.
Out of the 5 goals that I set for myself for 2021, I completed 3. So that was pretty.
Understand, Daniel is an amazing manifester. He doesn't just set goals. He manifests. He puts that energy out to the universe going, this is what I would like to manifest this year. And then he just puts his energy and he keeps manifesting until it happens. It's like, that's what Oprah, that's really what The Secret is about manifestation.
Yeah.
How to manifest things into your life by putting that energy out there to the universe, saying, this is what I want this energy to manifest this for me. And of course, you have to work at it. It doesn't just magically happen.
I was going to say, thank you for saying that, but underneath it all is, who can I talk to? Who can I meet? What class can I take? What webinar can I join? Where is the next conference? For instance, taking a class that was 5 hours a day, for 5 days, and completely have to redo my schedule. I took this class just because I wanted to learn more.
And wasn't it on East Coast time too?
Yeah, it was on East Coast time, and so I had to be up early in the morning,
7 a.m.
But that's the class. Taking that class is what got me noticed to become a national facilitator. They saw me in that class speaking and talking, and who has an opinion? I'm like, I do. I want to talk.
Yeah.
but that's what got me noticed, and that's what got me that.
And that's like ample evidence of how even something you may think is not that significant, and you're like, oh, I don't know, is it that important to do it? Because you don't know where it's going to lead. You don't know what connection your higher power or the universe has for you to make in that seemingly insignificant or even maybe dumb seeming activity. You don't know. Like that party you don't want to go to, you go to, because you know what? You might meet that person who'll make your whatever your business is or whatever you're trying to manifest just skyrocket.
Because there was a time when Christian would be like, "Why are you doing this again? Like, what? Is it paying? Like, are they paying you? Is it
years?"
Screen? I'm like, there's a logic.
Wait a minute. I gotta defend Christian a little bit because when you two met, I remember when you two met, and he supported you and helped you start a little Mexican production. You were so excited. He helped you, and I have to say this. I'm going to take a little bit of your time. But you guys, thank you for having the Christian and Daniel show. Thank you for Card Devo. Both of you have made such an impact on so many people's lives. And I want to take a moment to give you guys kudos and for doing this show. I really, when I know that it's Wednesday night, I'm like driving home, like, shit, I got to turn it on. They're on already because I like to catch it live. And I see people's responses. And to have people from Monterrey and people from the East Coast, you guys are paying it forward in our electronic community. So thank you. And I wish you the best next year.
But you know what? And I thank you so much. I forgot to list this show as one of the things I achieved in lockdown in particular, because Daniel came up with it and he only did it because he wanted me to have something to do.
But you guys make a great team. You make me laugh. You make me cry. You make me see things. You know, I see your point of view. And it's a different point of view. You respect each other. So it teaches me how I can do that with somebody. So I'm very appreciative of you.
Thank you. And yay, you're making Daniel cry.
I love that guy.
Oh, I love him too, obviously.
We've known each other for a long time and we've been through some ups and downs, but it really makes me happy to see you guys doing the show, doing the talks, the live podcast, and the Card Devo is my favorite. So just thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. And that's, I'll say that's a big deal. That's a really big deal for Daniel is he loves to touch lives. He loves to help move the dial forward in whichever way and with whoever it may be moving the dial forward. He's so grateful to have the opportunity to be able to do this and move dials forward like that. And I know that fulfills him on a level that nothing. Yeah. And that's why he's emotional, because this is his dream. All of this stuff is his dream coming true. This is stuff that when we met, I don't think he thought he could do. I don't think it would ever happen. Little Mexican Productions, I don't think he thought that company would ever exist. And it's a miracle that it has. And that's where I say his manifestation abilities are beyond. We have a good friend. I have a very dear friend, James Mansell, and he is a manifester and a half. Like, whoo, that man, he owns a home, he's going to own a restaurant. He's going to own his own business. He's done so. He is a lot like Daniel. He's like the gringo version of Daniel.
We all have it in us, but Daniel has always helped me. I have goals. I want to be in construction, and people were telling me leave the industry because I'm a woman in a man's world. But he's always encouraged me. And what are you gonna do about it? Vámonos.
Yeah.
Muévete. Or sit still. And I don't listen to a lot of people, but I listen to him because even when we're on Card Devo and he pulls a card for me, and it's kind of like regañándome, like getting after me. He's like, "People, I'm not being mean to her. I know her," and he does, and it's right on point. And you're a friend that I can count on. I can go 2 years without talking to him and say, I need help. My phone will be ringing. He's like, what can I do? Mm-hmm. What can we do? I don't have time right now, but I'll call you at 7:00, answer your phone. Love you, Daniel. And Christian, from the day that I met you, I couldn't wait to meet you. And when we met in Mission at the coffee shop, it was like instant friendship.
It was like we'd known each other for years.
Yeah.
It's
That's why I love this
will
show,
say
because y'all live in California. We don't see each other often, but this is like I'm in your living room, we're hanging out, and we're seeing each other.
Yeah. And you know, Daniel is Daniel's taught me so much about being a better human being. I'll tell you guys, there's a
100%.
reason our relationship continues to work, but it's also because he has just taught me to be such a better person than I was when we met.
It's
Because
hard
I
not
am
to be willing to give as much as he does, right?
exactly, and I still don't give anywhere near as much as he does, but I give more than I ever have, and I get more back than I ever have from this world.
My sister's asking, but yes, I lived in the valley for a while too.
Yeah,
Well, thank you.
you made him cry! Yay!
I just wanted to make sure that you got both of you. You know, this show is great. You know, I don't know if anybody watches the recordings. Sometimes I do, but you know, this is part of my community, part of my week. You know, something that I look forward to. And you know, during COVID and depression and stuff, you know, this is something to look forward to. So I'm very grateful, as I'm sure all your listeners are.
Well, you know, I did start the show because I wanted something for us to do together, and I knew that Christian wasn't feeling particularly happy with himself, and I wanted him to make a difference. I wanted, like in my life, I've used my sad and hard moments to learn from them and to teach people something, and I didn't want his down moments to be just down. Like, give them a use, like make that useful. And I go back and listen to our shows sometimes, although some of the original ones are kind of rough. The topics and the conversations and the way people joined, I knew we had something really special. I knew, and seeing my sister comment means a lot. But I'm very proud of what we do, and you're right. It's really exciting to see friends like Estela here in California, and then friends like Piper all the way in the East Coast, and everybody in between.
Monterrey.
And Monterrey jumps in, and I'm like,
yes, international.
I'm like, you know, we haven't made it to the level where I wanted it to be yet, but man, where we are right now, it's so beautiful because I see it. I see people commenting, and I see people getting excited about the conversations. And you're not the first person that tells me. It's like I schedule things to make sure that I'm there live because they don't want to miss the conversation, and that means a lot. You know, this is my world. I've been in entertainment now for 15 years, and
That's right.
16 years actually.
And if you go back to the very beginning of y'all shows, I mean, Christian, you've lit up as time has progressed. You have opened up and lit up. You're glowing.
No, thank you.
That's very sweet. My sister says that you have a special place in her heart. So.
Yep.
Thank you. Thank you.
Next time we're all down there, I'll have to introduce you.
We'll have to meet. Yes.
Well, for everybody, this is her. My sister's an artist.
Oh, I love that piece. Can she make
This
one?
is her piece, yeah. That's why it hangs here.
You make one for me?
We'll have to connect you so you can negotiate.
Yeah, definitely.
But anyway, for everybody watching, we've run over the time, but I guess we don't care today.
It's the
everybody
final.
watching, for those of you that watch us on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Twitter, thank you so much for all the comments. Thank you for the likes. Thank you for the shares. We don't have a huge audience, but we love the audience we have, and that's really amazing. Thank you to everybody who has been a co-host with us this year. You've made this show even more specialer,
more dynamic, more interesting.
It's
and
amazing.
It's like having family on.
It's amazing to be able to come once a week and share our lives with you. And more than anybody, this guy right here. Thank you, Christian, for putting up with my craziness and playing along, and I know sometimes you don't feel like it or don't want to, but you still jump on camera and you do it. And I love you, and I'm so blessed and grateful to have you by me to do this.
Now
Aw,
you're gonna make me cry. Stop it.
ditto, baby.
Aw.
It's absolute. Oh, there you go.
Yay! Thank you, Nancy.
Yeah, it's we are very blessed to be able to do this. And no, are we at the Ryan and whatever her name is, Kelly and Ryan show level? No, that's where I want this to go sometime. I would love to get there. I think people would I think people would laugh on a national side to get to see a show like this. But
If anybody knows anybody,
I'm
send
all
them a link.
hey, Worlds of Wonder.
You're getting there, baby. You're getting
Gave
there.
Rue 2 tries, two different shows. How about we join Rue?
Yeah, so, and you know, my family motivates me. I want them.
That's amazing.
Like I honestly, I do this for me because I want to be proud of myself. But I want Christian to be proud. I want my family to be proud. I want my friends to be proud. I want them to be able to with confidence say, "Hey, this is my friend, and he has this show, and watch it." And I think I trust us. I believe in us. I know we do a good job. So, thank you, everybody. Ida, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Ida.
Thank you, guys.
Last show of 2021.
And I think it was the powers that be working with you that you got to be on our final show of the year rather than the show.
Yeah, they were supposed to be on last week.
Yeah, so I think that's just how our higher power wanted it.
Universe.
Yeah, yeah.
We wanna
Funny how
thank-
things work.
I just got goosebumps.
We want to thank El Güero's food truck, our friend Checo, for coming on the show and talking about the
Anya.
project. Let me put that back up just so you guys, whoever is in California, remember that if you're in LA, January 9th, food truck meetup from 10 to 5 at 1013 Crocker Street in LA. Come join us. It's on our calendar now, so we'll be there.
Do a live from there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh, thank you, Martha. That's our sister of choice.
Yeah, she's one of our sisters.
We love her.
So thank you for being on the show. Any last words before we go, Ida? Any holiday messages or?
I'm sending out love and positivity to everyone, and hopefully in the next year, keep going. Things may go down, and you may be down, but things always turn up. Nothing stays the same, and I wish everybody a safe and happy holiday.
Awesome. And Babe, you want to say anything?
Thanks for all your love, support, and understanding throughout this year with the show, and for all of our friends and loved ones. We certainly hope you have a wonderful holiday season. Stay safe and try not to go outside and be too exposed, because we're not through all this yet. It's not done. But also, just remember, embrace the love and those who love you as tight as you can, because that's all we got in the end is love.
And for me, I just want to wish you all happy holidays. Stay strong, have peace of mind, and align your spirit. And things are tough. We'll get through this. We did it already for 2 years, so let's just keep going. And if you ever need to up your spirits a little bit, check out an old episode of the Christian and Daniel Show. I'm sure we'll make you laugh somewhere along the way. For now, we want to thank everybody for watching us. Thank you, Ida, for being on the show. Don't go anywhere. We're going to talk after the show. Everybody, we will see you
In 2022.
We'll see you in a year.
In a year, 2022.
We'll see you next year. Be good. And who knows? Maybe we'll have a New Year's Eve video show.
Never know. We've done crazier things.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.